global inflation is again haunting world markets as investors' worry over this has resulted in a slowdown in activity. The JSE has tracked US and Asian markets lower while the rand holds its ground and the dollar retreats. Just One Lap founder Simon Brown speaks to us now about these latest developments. Very good morning to you. Thank you for your time. Is this downward trend expected to continue in global market activity today?
Oh, I think yes. I think we're going to have probably a fairly weak day going. There's US jobs data 2:30 this afternoon, our time. If that really surprises to the upside, we could see some positivity towards the close, sort of end of our trading day. But I think otherwise, as you mentioned in the intro there, worries around inflation, a lot of talk overnight out of the US around potential recession in America at the same time, and that's got markets a little bit skittish, and we're seeing red all over our screens this morning so far.
The rand, on the other hand, is standing firm. Tell us about that development in relation to activity in emerging market currencies.
The rand absolutely is holding on. We're currently, 18.18 against the dollar. We're at 22.60 on sterling and 19.93 against the euro. The dollar is obviously the big one. And what we're seeing here has been over the last couple of days, even week or two, we've seen a bit of US dollar weakness. But I do worry that if there's concerns around inflation, and certainly we've seen a number of inflation data points this week that were higher than expected locally and in Europe, concerns around a US recession, certainly we could see a flight to safety, money going back into the US, and that will see weaker currencies, particularly in the emerging market space such as ourselves.
Let's talk about company news now, starting with the developments at Thungela. Tell us about the miners' share drop and the impact on dividends after withholding tax.
Yeah, so they went what we call, fancy speak, LDT, last stage trade. And typically that means that the stock will fall by the amount of the dividend. The dividend paid was 40 Rand, which was a chunky dividend and what was around a 200 Rand share. And you then normally expect that share price to fall by about the 40 Rand. In this case, it fell exactly 38, which interestingly is the 40 Rand less the tax that we would pay. There's a dividend withholding tax, but fairly in line with what one would have expected from the market in terms of paying that dividend out. In essence, the shareholder from earlier in the week now has the share and the dividend, and they're in the same place they were when they started the week.
And very lastly, Simon, crypto platform Luno exits Singapore. What are the details around that?
Yeah, so I think we're going to see a fair bit of consolidation to a degree from crypto platforms. Initially, if we go back 5, 6, even maybe 8 years ago, crypto platforms were opening up in absolutely every single market possible. And I think that we're seeing some consolidation in the wake of FTX. There's some issues around Binance and the like. But I also think it's around regulation. Certainly, Singapore's been putting out some new regulations around the crypto space. And crypto has been, truthfully, for much of the last decade, a completely unregulated space. Finally, they're starting to come in. We've seen it locally in South Africa. But some exchanges will look at the regulations and decide that they're onerous and essentially exit markets, particularly smaller markets. Singapore, not a significant market, I imagine, in Luno's life, and they've taken the view that just not worth it for them. They're going to go and operate in other markets instead. They're still in some 50 other countries, so a lot else on the table for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. Just One Lap founder Simon Brown giving us some insight on the latest markets and the world of business. Now,